Welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Josh Taylor, Paul Zeise here with me in studio. Taking your phone calls, 412-575-2600 on the Borders and Borders hotline. And taking your tweets at Josh Taylor HD. First tweet comes from Robert. Paul, is it possible the Pens might trade Matt Murray for Jimmy Howard of Detroit? My answer is no. What's yours?
Well, I got to defer to Jason Mackey of the Post-Gazette, who wrote today that there's not really a very good, there's not a good chance at all that they're going to trade for a goaltender this year. So, no.
I wouldn't see the need to do it. And if you're doing it, it's probably premature. But
if you're doing it, it's probably a panic move.
And I don't think this team is in position to panic yet.
No, I mean, I don't think that they're probably as constituted good enough to win the Super Bowl. I mean, the Super Bowl. I got the football game here.
You got football here.
The Stanley Cup playoffs.
It's
you know
November.
what I'm saying? I don't think they're good enough to win the Stanley Cup championship right now as constituted. They're going to have to make some moves. But if you have to trade Matt Murray, who's been one of the cornerstones of a couple of Stanley Cup runs, it's probably a panic move.
I'm sticking with the same thing I've thought the past couple weeks when I've been asked about it. I expected a move for at least one forward, and I expect a move for at least a defenseman. Because here's the thing that continues to stand out. You don't have Justin Schultz for an extended period of time. So you got to find a way to replace that presence. That's one thing that I think continues to stick out. Plus, you continue to see Jim Rutherford trying to do different things with forwards. He ships off Carl Hagelin. He brings in Tanner Pearson. That's one thing that continues to develop. Derek Brassard's healthy in the lineup again, but he's been in and out. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. It might take another injury or two to figure things out. So I imagine this is still a lot of moving parts. I think you and I are on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing. There's so many different parts to what they need, and that's, I think, the problem that you got. But, you know, they still have a core of guys that have won a lot. So that's what you're building around.
And this is a team that loves to turn it on right around a month from now. Yeah. Like Christmas, post-Christmas is when things start to kick up, and in January they're kind of flying high again. So if things don't look as great by the time the trade deadline comes around, maybe we start seeing some different movement. And until then, I'm waiting to see what this team does if they usually go along their usual trajectory. In the meantime, we got a bank full of phone lines. We will start with Waylon in Washington. Waylon, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Hi. Hey, guys. Hey, I really appreciate Josh and Paul, how you guys rock and roll. I really do.
Always fun with this guy.
However, I just think that the coaching staff of the Steelers, or any team in general, whether they get together as a team themselves, and they get better as year goes on. You know, any thoughts or insights on that?
You mean other than the fact that it's pretty well documented that the team continues to get better? I think 18-2 in the last 5 seasons in the month of December. So it seems like that's exactly the case. And Paul, you can explain this any further if you want to. I think it's pretty well documented. This team starts to gain steam around October, November, and they really start to climax in December.
Yeah, I think they play well. I mean, I think they play well down the stretch. The problem is recently they haven't played their best in January.
Yes,
so,
that's the difference.
Part of it is, too, you've got a team with a lot of really good players who are veterans that kind of know how to get it done. And sort of like the Penguins, they sort of know when it's go time.
Yep.
And so and once it's go time for this team, they've shown they'll go win 4 or 5 in a row. So that's what they do. Now, they've got some tough games coming up, I think. I mean, the Saints obviously are
Sunday
a tough
among
team.
them. I don't think Sunday will be easy.
Tomorrow or Sunday will be tough.
Yeah.
They play the Patriots still, who look beat up, but until they prove they could beat them, I don't know how you could pick them against the Patriots. So.
Until you make the dragon bleed, you assume that you haven't slayed him yet.
Yeah.
That's what I would assume with that, too. Let's go to John in Banksville. John, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'd like to get both of your predictions. Now, I know it's probably as probable as world peace, but say Pitt manages to beat Clemson and Georgia manages to beat Alabama. How would you see the top 4 panning out for the playoffs?
It's a good question. I think it's too hard to just look at Pitt beating Clemson and Georgia beating Alabama. You also got to throw in what happens at Oklahoma and Texas, because that makes a big difference too. And also Ohio State, Northwestern, all those things get added in.
Yeah, if Georgia beats Alabama, they're both in.
You think just regardless of whatever else happens?
Regardless of what happens. They're both in, and then Notre Dame will be in. So that's 3. And say Pitt wins on like they did last time on a last second field goal. Clemson will be 4. That's my prediction.
Oh, you think Clemson gets in even if they lose?
Yeah, that'll be my prediction.
Wow. I would say this. If Alabama loses that game, it would take Pitt to beat Clemson. It would take Northwestern to blow out Ohio State. It would take Texas to just completely stomp Oklahoma. If we're talking about anything else, for anybody outside of those 4 teams that we're already talking about to get in. It would take all those things at the same time to push Alabama out. And I don't see all those things.
Well, the other thing is I don't think there's any scenario Alabama's out, honestly.
It's hard for me to find.
Pretty much clear that they're going to put them in. I mean, they have Georgia. If Georgia wins, it'll be Georgia and Alabama and Notre Dame definitely. And then if Clemson wins, they'll be 4.
It'll be Clemson. And
that'll be it.
Now we say that, and if you think if Clemson loses, they're still in.
It depends on how they lose. Like if Pitt were to beat them by like 2 touchdowns, and then say Ohio State won, 59-0 like they did the one year, it might be different. But
because I'm expecting them to come out and try to put up 60 on Northwestern.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm just
Urban
saying,
Meyer's going to do it.
If Oklahoma gives up, even if Oklahoma wins, if they give up another 55 points or whatever if they win 59-55,
it's the Big 12.
They're not putting them in the playoffs. They're just not going to do that.
It's the Big 12. That could very well happen. There could be 110 points scored in that game.
But you don't understand what I'm saying.
Oh, I do.
There's already a bias against them because all their defense stinks. So,
agreed.
They would have to play a really good game. Ohio State, the Purdue game, people can't seem to get out of their minds. So I really think that if Clemson were to lose a really close game, they probably would still be in.
I thought Purdue was Ohio State's wake-up call. I thought that was a wake-up call because they had faced so many teams that could not seem to keep up with them or kind of stay ahead of them, and Purdue came out and did the perfect game plan. They got out ahead, and once they got their foot down, they never eased up. They kept their foot on Ohio State's throat. When they had a 3-touchdown lead, every time Ohio State scored, Purdue scored again to get back to 3 touchdowns. They would not let them get close. I thought Purdue just played the perfect game at the perfect time. Let's go back to the phone lines. Let's go to Mike in Bethel Park. Mike, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Good. Hey, guys. Appreciate your work you do. I'm looking forward to Saturday's game. I'm disappointed with the national media. I'm glad Pitt's in the ACC. Clemson's a powerhouse. They put a ton of guys in the pros. They're the real deal, and they can turn the heat up quicker than anybody. And for people that haven't seen them, they're going to bring it. And I think Pitt, that's good for Pitt because they can aspire to be to that caliber. But I just think the ACC gets looked every year, like Paul said. I think Clemson's one of the few teams that can beat Alabama. I just wanted your thoughts about that.
Well, the reason why the ACC gets looked at because the one team that comes out of the ACC perpetually is Clemson. They're just continuing to run the ACC.
Or Florida State.
Or Florida State. And in some cases, maybe even Louisville is one of the better teams in the ACC, and they're having a down.
But even if you look at it, the last 5 years, right, or 6 years now, I guess 5. No, for the last 5 years, the ACC's had 2 different teams win the national title. That should mean something.
Right, but at the same time, I mean, if we're looking at the ACC as a whole, it's not going to get as much as far as the entire duration of the league because it's really 2 teams. It's Clemson, Florida State. Those are the 2 teams at the top.
At the top, yeah.
Once you get past those 2 teams, you're pretty much rolling dice.
Again, it depends. 3 years ago, the ACC was the best conference. And by every metric, it was absolutely the best conference. They had 11 teams make bowl games. They had a ridiculous record in bowl games. They had a ridiculous out-of-conference record. They won the national title. They actually won, I think, 2 or 3 New Year's 6 games. I mean,
you're going by bowl games.
I'm just saying they won by every metric you want to go by. They won the national title. They won BCS games. They won.
You don't think it's too easy to make bowl games though for some teams?
What?
6 wins. You don't think it's a little bit too easy?
But that's the point though.
I'm just asking because some people don't like the thought of a 6-win team making a bowl game.
What I'm saying
just
is
playing devil's advocate.
Talking about depth. If you're talking about depth, if it's that easy, then every conference should have 11 or 12 teams make it. But that's the point. My point is that year there was a 2-year stretch where the ACC was clearly the best conference. By every metric, every person wanted to put together. Now, this year, no. Last year, no. But part of that is because Florida State has kind of collapsed.
Florida State's down, Louisville's down, Virginia Tech is down.
Right. So
the teams that are usually
Miami
at the top
and
are
Miami.
down. Miami's down.
That's what I'm saying. It has and those teams will rise again.
Because that's probably your 5, right? If you look at the 5 every year, Clemson, Louisville, Florida State, Virginia Tech, Miami, those are your 5 every year.
But that's what I'm saying. And those teams will bounce back, and once they do, it'll be fine. But I do agree with him. I think the only team that can beat Alabama is Clemson.
I don't disagree there. I think they have a lot of talent. We talked about the front 7. They can give those guys a hard enough time.
Yep.
We got to take a break. We are way over, so we will answer more phone calls and tweets when we come back. Stick around.